Hello everybody and welcome back to SFF180. It is Monday, July the 9th and time once again for the mailbag. How's everybody doing? I hope you have had an awesome week. Those of you who survived the holidays, congratulations. It's been hot here in the States, especially down here, Texas way. And I understand hot all over the globe. So I hope you are enduring that, without too much difficulty. Got a good batch of stuff this week, including a really nice surprise that I will lead off with. So I guess without further ado, let's get into them, shall we? Dum, 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 dum. Oh, what could this be? What's that little red rocket ship right there? Yeah, you guessed it. It's time for another big care package from Tor.com Publishing. I love my guy over there. Every time I email him and I'm like, hey, is there any new interesting stuff that I ought to see? It's, been a couple of months since the last box. He says, yeah, sure, I'll whip some stuff together, send it to you. And I always get this massive, big fucking parcel every single time, and I love it. So, yeah, wow, let's see what we have this time, shall we? Okie dokie, got another little packet of candy corn for Beneath the Sugar Sky. Must really be needing to get these out of the office. Okay, I have a candy corn loving friend I can send those to. Ooh, just in time for conference season. Tote bag, thank you, Mordecai. I'll get some good use out of this. Nice sturdy canvas tote. Kind of, just Tor.com. Awesome. What are these? Are these stickers? Are they? No! Oh, no, they're not. They're, okay, these are going to be hard to see because they're kind of small. So I may insert a little photo image. They're little Murderbot temporary tattoos. I swear I'm not kidding. See, there's one, a heart one, and then there's one that's a little more like a, an emblem or something. Murderbot temp tattoos. This is too good. Oh man, you spoil me, Tor.com. Let's see what we have next. Ooh. Okay, this first one is for a novella coming out on November the 6th. It is called Alice Payne Arrives, and the author is Kate Hartfield. Okay, the cover art seems to indicate something either, gas lamp fantasy or steampunky. Let's have a look. Oh no, it's even earlier than that. It's 1788, and Alice Payne is the notorious highway robber, the Holy Ghost. Aided by her trusty automaton, Laverna, okay, it's steampunk, but Regency steampunk, not Victorian. Cute. The Holy Ghost is feared by all who own a heavy purse. It's 1889. Oh, okay, so now we get to Victoria. And Major Prudence Zuniga is once again attempting to change history, to save history, but 70 attempts later, she's still no closer to her goal. It's 2016, and, well, the less said about 2016, the better, yes. But in 2020, the farmers and the guides are locked in battle. Time is their battleground, and the world is their prize. Only something new can change the course of the war, or someone new. Little do they know, they've all been waiting until Alice Payne arrives. Well then, okay. You had my interest, now you have my attention. Alice Payne arrives on November the 6th. Yeah, for this one, I made sure and sent a list of everything he sent me last time, so I didn't get any duplications. And what do we have here but In an Absent Dream? This is Wayward Children number 4 by Sean McGuire, and this one is due, it says January. January release. So let's see what we have here. Lundy is a very serious young girl who would rather study and dream. I think I can, do it like that. Rather study and dream than become a respectable housewife and live up to the expectations of the world around her, as well she should. When she finds a doorway to a world founded on logic and reason, riddles and lies, she thinks she's found her paradise. Promises are made to family, both old and new. Promises are broken, but everything costs at the goblin market. And when Lundy's time there draws to a close, she makes the kind of bargain that never plays out well for anyone. Okay then, so yeah, I guess each of the Wayward Children volumes are, following a new character from the school for Wayward Children. And so In an Absent Dream will be available in January. Now this one I've been very interested in because it seems really unusual. It's a new book by Jane Yolen, who has written fantasy all across the spectrum, adult, young adult, even middle grade children's books. This new one is called Finding Baba Yaga. Okay, and the idea is it is a retelling, I guess, or a reinvention of the Baba Yaga legend. And it is written in verse. You know, the entire novel. It's a novel in verse, as it were. You think you know this story, you do not. Okay, why do I keep holding it down? Hold it up, Thomas. Jesus. A harsh, controlling father, a quiescent mother. A house that feels like anything but a home. Natasha gathers the strength to leave and comes upon a little house in the wood. A house that walks about on chicken feet and is inhabited by a fairy tale witch. In finding Baba Yaga, Natasha finds her voice, her power, and herself. A contemporary retelling of an iconic myth by a beloved and prolific American storyteller. And yeah, as I mentioned, it's all in verse, which should be fascinating. I love that Tor.com is letting authors experiment in this way. But Finding Baba Yaga, out October the 30th. Now this next one I'm very glad to see in book form. This is John Scalzi's Unlocked. And it is a July release, so it should be out very, very soon. In fact, this is not an ARC, it's a finished copy. But anyway, Unlocked is a prequel novella to the book Lock-In. And it describes the plague, the locked-in syndrome plague, as, that is, the whole premise behind, lock in and then head on, set in that same future. And it's fascinating because this actually was, published on the Tor.com website like 4 years ago, but now they've put it out as its own book. And it is an oral history. It says an oral history of Hayden's syndrome. And so what this it reads like basically a long magazine article, like almost a science fact piece. And it's a fascinating read, like how the plague came about, how the cure, as it were, or the treatment, the technology that allowed people to kind of, with a neural net, anyone who was afflicted by the blah, one of those, Thomas, you know what I mean. They could, through a neural net, kind of like transmit their brains to these robot bodies and have more or less a normal life, except as robots. So if you have read Lock-In or not, or have been thinking about reading Lock-In, I really suggest get this and then like read them both in tandem, because then you get the real flavor of this future, and it's really good stuff. So Unlocked is a July release. Next up, also out on November the 6th, this is Static Ruin, and it's by Corey J. White, and this is the final volume in the Void Witch trilogy, which started out with, come on, Thomas, where's your memory? Because I reviewed the first one of these. Yeah, there was Killing Gravity, which I thought was pretty good, and Void Black Shadow. These are interesting. You kind of really have to stretch your suspension of disbelief for a lot of what's going on, but basically what you have is this character who has been sort of created as a super soldier and now being hunted down, as it were, by those who created them. They have this kind of out-of-control X-Man, pretty much. And so this was followed by Void Black Shadow, which I have not yet read, and now we have Static Ruin. So I guess I can finish up the trilogy now. But this is available on November the 6th. And this is one I've been excited to see. I've already gotten this one as an e-ARC, but I'm happy to have the book. This is one called The Million, and the author is Carl Schroeder. And you might remember about, I'm gonna say 2 or 3 years ago, I hosted a read-along on Goodreads for the first couple of books in his series Verde. It was a way of getting people to try something new, and a lot of folks jumped in on that. I had like 50, 55 people get in on that read-along, and some people liked it, some people didn't, and then Carl actually came into the group, and I opened up a thread where he could answer, questions for readers, and it was really kind of neat. So I'm happy to see a new book of his. This is called The Million, and it goes like this. Every 30 years, 10 billion visitors overrun Earth during 1 month of madness, partying, polluting, and brawling. In between, the world is ruled by the million, the inheritors and custodians of all of humanity's wealth and history. They lead unimaginable lives of privilege and wealth, and they see it as their due. Gavin Pen of Chaffee is an illegal child, a visitor hidden among the million. When the family that raised him in secret is torn apart, Gavin must impersonate a dead boy to survive. What he doesn't know is that his new identity is expected at the School of Auditors, the million's feared police force, sworn to find and capture outcasts like him to keep the peace. In order to solve the murder of the adoptive father, Gavin must keep his disguise and his wits intact within the stronghold of those threatened by his very existence. That has real timely metaphorical implications, doesn't it? Sounds fascinating. Anyway, The Million is available August the 14th. Okay, now here is the third installment in a series that admittedly I haven't really been paying as much attention to as a bunch of other Tor.com stuff. Paranormal investigator kind of fiction, so not ordinarily my bag. But this one is called Outbreak. It's the third one in the series, as I've said. It is, I guess it's available nowish because this is a finished copy. Let's see what it says in the front. Oh, yeah, out nowish because this is a June title. Okay, the Bureau of Preternatural Investigations, excuse me, not Supernatural, returns in the third installment of Melissa F. Olson's Nightshades series. Okay, Outbreak. Let's see, the Chicago field office of the Bureau of Preternatural Investigations is facing its deadliest challenge yet. Internal investigation, Alex and Lindy are on the hook and on the run. But when all the BPI's captive vampires are broken free from their maximum security prison, and Hector finally steps out of the shadows, Alex must use every trick to stay ahead of both the BPI and the world's most dangerous shade. Confrontation is inevitable, success is not. Okay, so it's that kind of thing, you know, UF, as it were, urban fantasy. But Outbreak is available, I guess, now. And last but by no means least, I am very, very happy to have State Tectonics. This is the final volume in the Sentinel cycle by Malka Older, State Tectonics, following Infomocracy and Null States. You know what it means? Yeah, that's right, it's trilogy binge time, finally. So, this one is available, well, September, it says. Okay, yeah, the concluding volume of the series that began with Infomocracy, The Future of Democracy Must Evolve or Die. This is a highly acclaimed series, you know, dealing with political systems and economic systems, as it were. And, you know, very much in the Gibsonian vein, if, you know, you like that kind of futurist fiction, and I certainly do. So, look for State Tectonics in September. Whew! Okay, that is all she wrote for the Tor.com box. Thank you once again, Tor.com. Thank you, Mordecai. There's more to come, so stick around. Yeah, more stuff, and this first package here is from Random Penguin. And we have the finished copy, I've already gotten this one as an ARC, of Kill the Farm Boy. This is a collaboration between Delilah S. Dawson and Kevin Hearn. It's available next week on the 17th. Once upon a time in a faraway kingdom, the hero, a chosen one, was born, and so begins every fairy tale ever told. This is not that fairy tale. There is a chosen one, but he's unlike anyone who has ever been chosen. Haha. And there is a faraway kingdom, but you have never been to a magical world quite like the land of Pell. There, a plucky farm boy will find more than he's bargained for on his quest to awaken the sleeping princess in her cursed tower. First, there's the Dark Lord, who wishes for the boy's untimely death, and also very fine cheese. Then there's a bard without a song in her heart, but with a very adorable and fuzzy tail, an assassin who fears not the night, but is terrified of chickens, and a mighty fighter, more frightened of her sword than of her chainmail bikini. This journey will lead to sinister umlauts, a trash-talking goat, the dread necromancer Steve, and a strange and wondrous journey to the most peculiar happily ever after that ever once upon a time. So turn the page and discover the magical and marvelous world of Pell. So as you can tell, it's a big old spoof on, you know, every single epic fantasy and fairy tale trope that they could come up with. And this is the sort of thing that, you know, Terry Pratchett in his day could, you know, do with his eyes closed. But customarily, these kinds of books, they either... I remember saying this when I got the ARC in. This is either going to hit a bullseye, or it's going to fail so massively that it will just be, you know, an all-time shame. But hopefully it will be the former. But as I said, Kill the Farm Boy, available on July 17th. And this next one comes in from Macmillan, so possibly another Tor book? It is, and it is the finished copy of City of Lies, debut novel by Sam Hawke. This is riding a wave of a little bit of hype coming in, and it is it's already available. Okay, it came out on the July the 3rd, it says. And it's the first book in something called the Poison Wars series. Hawke masterfully crafts a tale of poisoners, deceit, and treachery in City of Lies. Jovan is the lifelong friend of the Chancellor's charming, irresponsible heir. Quiet, forgettable. In secret, he's a master of poisons and chemicals, trained to protect the Chancellor's family from treachery. When the Chancellor succumbs to an unknown poison, and an army lays siege to the city, Jovan and his sister Kalina must protect the heir and save their city-state. Visceral and immediate City of Lies combines the politics and court intrigue of King's Landing with the pulse-pounding tension of Helm's Deep. Perfect for fans of Scott Lynch, Joe Abercrombie, Robin Hobb, and Naomi Novik. City of Lies has great crossover appeal and will appeal to older teen readers interested in epic fantasy. Okay, then. Well, we'll see. I've been curious. Again, this is another one that I got as an ARC, and I have been curious about it all that time. So, it's available now from Tor, City of Lies. And this next one is from Simon & Schuster, maybe a Saga Press book. Well, it is, and just in time. It's the finished copy of Trail of Lightning by Rebecca Roanhorse. In fact, they sent me the hardcover version. Saga has been doing a lot of simultaneous hardcover and trade paperback releases, which I think is an interesting strategy. But nice of them to send me the hardback. Not going to read the sell sheet for this because you, unless you have been horribly negligent, and shame on you, have probably already watched my review of this book, which I put up this morning. So go check that out if you hadn't. You can find out all about what this one is like there. I'll just say this. I am ordinarily not one for anything that could pass for urban fantasy, but this one really, you know, kind of changes the game, as it were. It's a hyped debut that I think lives up. So I was very pleased with this. But Trail of Lightning, this came out on June the 26th from Saga Press, so it's available now. Oh, and here we have another Saga envelope. This has lots of stuff in it. My God. Wow. Yeah, it is. And the first book in that little bag is Constance, Verity Saves the World. This is the finished copy. Once again, lovely hardcover edition. Thank you, Saga. She is the reluctant heroine saving the world. This is another urban fantasy riff, but it's by Ailey Martinez, who was at Armadillicon a few years ago and seems to be a very funny and charming guy and has written a lot of humorous fantasy, humorous UF, that sort of thing. And as I understand, I've got the first one, been wanting to read it, and everyone who has read it says they really, really enjoyed it. Now here's the second one. So I'm guessing available now because this has no sell sheet and nothing else. So I'm just going to take it for granted that if it's not out now, it will be within the next couple of weeks. Constance Verity Saves the World. Oh, here's the date. Constance Verity comes out on the 17th, and this massive 700-page monster tome is European Travel for the Monstrous Gentlewoman. It is the sequel to The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter, and this is available on the 10th. Cool. The Extraordinary Adventures of the Athena Club is the series. Now, these are all of the daughters of the famous, you know, the monsters of literature, and you know, their adventures, as it were. So, really been looking forward to this one, and it is available, as I said, on the 10th by Theodora Goss. European Travel for the Monstrous Gentlewoman. Okay, just a few more, so we're going to get down to the rest of these. This one is, I can't tell. It's okay. We'll just find out the old-fashioned way. Ooh, okay, well this one comes in from Orbit, and I'm really happy to have this. I tend to get most of my stuff, my Orbit stuff from NetGalley, and I don't get too many physicals from them. Well, I've been getting some more lately. Anyway, this is one that comes out in November, and it's kind of neat. It's called Empire of Sand, and the author, debut author, Tasha Suri. And it says, a young woman comes to terms with the magical ability she inherited from her long-exiled mother, and the powerful figures who want to use her and it you know, those powers, to further their own ends. Okay, a fantasy epic based on India's Mughal Empire, set in a well-developed world and featuring characters torn between love and duty. Empire of Sand is one of the most anticipated debuts of the fall. Mare grew up the illegitimate daughter of the imperial governor of Amban, inheriting from her Amrithi mother the power to force the gods to do their bidding. When Mare demonstrates that she's inherited this ability, she comes to the attention of the Emperor and his feared mystics, who scheme to use her for their own purposes. And it says Tasha Suri is a London-based librarian. Okay. Her love of period Bollywood films, history, and mythology, as well as her own Punjabi heritage, led her to write South Asian-influenced fantasy. Okay, so it's saying that if you're a fan of like Roshani Chokshi and S.A. Chakraborty, you know those books like City of Brass and all of that sort of thing. All right, then you will probably like this. Yeah, they're saying. Cool. All right, interesting. Well, November the 13th is the date on this, so let me know in the comments. Only a couple left, and they're both these white Macmillan packages. So let's see. All right, this is a book called Mystic Dragon. The author is Jason Denzel. And this is the sequel to a book that I guess came out about a while back, I guess maybe like 3 years ago, that I have, but never got around to reading, called Mystic, and now we have Mystic Dragon, and this is now apparently the middle book in the Mystic trilogy, as it were. So let's see. The latest book in an epic fantasy trilogy about a young commoner girl determined to defy tradition, it says. 7 years have passed since Pamela Andone became the unlikely apprentice to Mystic Grandmaster Fei Wong. Despite having attained significant accomplishments as a mystic, and I don't want to say what she did because I guess that would be a spoiler for book 1, Pamela feels incomplete and that her studies have stalled. As a rare celestial event approaches, Pamela feels her lack of experience more than ever. The mystical realm of Feiyun is threatening to overtake the mortal world, and as the two worlds slowly blend together, her world is thrown into chaos. People begin to vanish or are killed outright. So mystics from across the world gather to protect them. Among them, Shavia, a dark and brilliant prodigy whose mastery of the mist rivals even that of the greatest high mystics. Shavia will challenge Pamela in every possible way, from her mastery of the mist to her emotional connection with Pamela's old friend Sim, in this epic fantasy adventure that weaves classic fantastical storytelling with a new creative story. Okay, so it's about a magic student, I suppose. Yeah, so that's kind of neat. Jason Denzel, it says, is the founder of DragonMount.com, which is, okay, that's the main, like, Wheel of Time fan site. Out July the 17th, this one is, sequel to Mystic. And last but not least, the final book is from St. Martin's Press, and it's one that I have gotten as an ARC, and it's the finished copy for a book called Halcyon by Rio Ewers, I'm guessing is the pronunciation there. And this is, I guess, kind of a, well, I'll just read it. Comes out on the 10th. Halcyon is the answer for all Americans who want to escape, but paradise isn't what it seems. A beautiful island in the middle of Lake Ontario, a self-sustaining community made up of people who want to live without fear, crime, or greed. Halcyon is run by Valerie Kemp, aka Mother Moon, benevolent and altruistic on the outside, but hiding an unimaginable darkness inside. Ain't that the way? She's dedicated her life to the pursuit of Glam Moon, a place of eternal beauty and healing, and she believes the pathway there can only be found at the end of pleasure. Wow, so it's like some sort of kinky cult or something? Huh. On the heels of tragedy, Martin Lovegrove moves his family to Halcyon. All right, a couple of months he tells himself to retreat from the chaos and grind. He soon begins to suspect there is something beneath the community's perfect veneer, and sets out to discover the truth, however terrible it might be, behind the island and its mysterious founder, Mother Moon. So I guess it's kind of like a futurist thriller, a suspense tale of sorts. It could be kind of fun, you know, in an escapist way. All right then, but Halcyon is out on the 10th from St. Martin's Press. And that, kids, I think makes for a pretty exciting second mailbag for July. What do you say? You know the drill. Light up those comments. Let me know which of these looks most interesting and exciting to you, which you would like to see me prioritize for review. Otherwise, if you enjoyed watching, please hit that like button, share the video far and wide with all of your SFF reading friends, and above all, please subscribe. If you have not done so, that is how the channel grows. You can also support the channel at my TeePublic store and at my Patreon, where recruits into Wink's Army get little perks like getting to see some of these videos early. I want to thank all of them for their additional added support. It means a lot. I want to thank you guys for being the most awesome viewers on BookTube. And until I see all of you next time, happy reading.